What's up, friends? Welcome back to the channel for another Tarantino movie. Got my first taste of his directorial style with Pulp Fiction a little bit ago, and now jumping way back to his beginnings with Reservoir Dogs. So I'm excited to check it out because Pulp Fiction was definitely a movie unlike any other one that I've seen before, just because of the dialogue style, the filmmaking, how unorthodox it was. I'm interested to see if it's like that again here. I'm expecting this time going into it a little bit more unorthodox storytelling, so I'm not going to be as thrown off by it as I was somewhat during Pulp Fiction. I know a little bit more what to expect going into a Tarantino film, and so I'm just going to try and enjoy it for that, and I'll have a little bit more appreciation for his style, I'm assuming, since I have that bit of a background. But hopefully I enjoy it. Hopefully you guys enjoy watching me react to it. And if you'd like to, of course, watch along with me for the entire movie, you can do that in my Patreon link in the description, where you can find my full-length reaction to this as well as all the other stuff on the channel. And if by the end of the video you enjoyed it, definitely consider leaving a thumbs up. That helps the video reach more people and helps the channel grow, so I appreciate you guys who do that. And going into this, I don't know anything about the plot or anything like that. If it's anything like Pulp Fiction, there's really not a whole lot of plot to get, so I'm just going in with an open mind, hoping to enjoy myself and just hang out with Tarantino for a bit. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and watch Reservoir Dogs.
It's not about some sensitive girl who meets a nice fella. That's what True Blue's about. No, granted, no argument about that.
Oh, there Tarantino is, right in the first scene. Wonder if he's gonna have a bigger role in this than Pulp Fiction.
No, I don't believe in it.
You don't believe in tipping?
I don't tip because society says I have to. All right, I mean, I'll tip if somebody really deserves a tip. If they really put forth the effort, I'll give them something extra. As far as I'm concerned, they're just doing their job.
At least going into this movie, after having seen Pulp Fiction, I know that there's not necessarily a point to this conversation. They're just having a conversation with interesting dialogue. And just like Pulp Fiction, it's very plain, exciting dialogue, but he does it in such a way that grips you.
Who didn't throw in?
Mr. Pink,
Mr. Pink. Why not?
you don't tip.
You don't tip. What do you mean you don't tip?
You don't believe in it.
Shut up. What do you mean you don't believe in it?
They're just gonna repeat the same conversation over again. I don't really know who these guys are, what they do, but just the way that they were interacting with each other makes me interested in them.
I'm gonna die! Hey! I'm sorry!
Wait a minute, what?
Kill me, man!
How the heck did we get here? Is this gonna be like Pulp Fiction, where the story is kind of broken up?
Who's a tough guy? Who's a tough guy? Come on, who's a tough guy? Who's a tough guy?
He is bleeding bad. I'm assuming that he got shot?
Situation is I'm shot in the belly. Without medical attention, I'm gonna die.
He was shot.
But it takes a long time to die from it. I'm talking days.
Gotta remind myself a little bit not to try and figure out too much what's going on and just kind of let the movie give me an experience.
The cop shot him.
Oh, cop got him.
Is it bad?
As opposed to good? You really think we were set up?
Do you even doubt it, man? I don't think we got set up. I know we got set up.
So is this taking place after the dinner conversation or before?
They're gonna be cops here waiting for us, man. They're gonna be cops coming here right now.
Let's go in the other room. Hey, in there. The sun is down. I need you cool. Are you cool? I am cool.
One thing I do like about Tarantino is he really lets his actors just go to work in the scenes, because it's not so much focused on the cinematography. Well, the cinematography is pretty good most of the time. I feel like the focus is on the acting ability. I can't say for sure, but I would imagine that actors really like working with him as a director.
As soon as I heard the alarm, I saw the
No,
cops.
man, I'm telling you, it wasn't that soon, okay? They didn't make it, they move until after Mr. Blanc started shooting everybody. I mean, that's how I know we were set up.
How did you get out?
Everybody started shooting, so I blasted my way out of there.
Excellent cutting. I love it. So the storytelling is going to be similar to Pulp Fiction in that it's kind of like broken up a little bit piece by piece, which now that I know kind of a little bit what to expect from Tarantino, I'm on board. Oh dang, pulled her out the freaking window. That's cold. Pretty intense scene. Dang, wasn't expecting that after having just conversations so far.
Panic on the inside, in your head, you know? And you give yourself a couple of seconds, you get a hold of the situation, you deal with it. What you don't do, you start shooting up the place and start killing people.
Good advice for every situation.
I got the diamonds.
That's my boy. Where?
I stashed them.
Steve Buscemi coming in clutch, grabbing the goods.
So who's the rat this time? Mr. Blue? Mr. Brown? Joe? You know, listen, I mean, Joe set this whole thing up. Maybe he set it up to set it
I
up.
don't buy it.
I mean, if all the other guys' names are colors, definitely singling out Joe because his name isn't a color.
And me saying he definitely had nothing to do with it is ridiculous. I mean, I can say I definitely didn't do it because I know what I did or I didn't do. But I cannot definitely say that about anybody else because I don't definitely know. For all I know, you're the rat.
By the way, how's Alabama?
Alabama.
I'm guessing this is a jump back instead of a jump forward.
Did about 4 jobs together.
What's she doing now?
She hooked up with Frank McGarr. They've done a couple of jobs together. Hell of a woman. Good little thief.
Oh, interesting. We get a perspective on each of them. I like it.
What's the cut, Papa?
Real juicy.
Look, man, I'm out of here, man. I'm going to check into a motel for a few days.
This filmmaking style is so different than things that I've watched before. Even more so than Pulp Fiction. This is jumping around, I feel like, way more frequently.
All right, then I guess we take him to a hospital. Since you don't know nothing about us, I say it's his decision.
Well, he knows little about me.
Wait. You didn't tell him your name, did you?
I told him my first name and where I was from.
Why?
So is Mr. Orange the mole then? Is he using the information he was given against him?
Telling him not to worry, everything's gonna be okay, I'm gonna take care of him. And he asked me what my name was. I mean, the man was dying in my arms.
Oh, wait, Mr. Orange is the guy who's been shot. Okay.
Your buddy there is stuck in a situation you created. So if you want to throw bad looks away, throw him at a mirror.
Oh, shoot, someone's here.
play so rough.
Mr. Blunt.
It's amazing how, like, little we've actually seen so far, but the way the dialogue is done and it's so packed with information, it feels like we've pretty much gotten a lot more of the story, or most of the story, I should say.
Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. Would you repeat it?
Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy? Or are you gonna bite?
Oh, things are about to go down.
Am I the only professional?
Right now, this guy is the only one I completely trust. I'm pretty sure you're okay. Let's try and figure out who the bad guy is, all right?
Wow. That was really exciting. I got something outside that I'd like to show you guys, so follow me.
Sounds a little bit too ominous in this situation. I don't know if I'd trust him, especially when they don't know who the mole is.
Maybe our boy in blue here can answer some of these questions about this rat business you've been talking about.
Shoot, got a cop hostage. Dang, that's risky. I don't think that guy's the mole then if he's kidnapping cops.
Brown's dead. Nobody's got a clue what happened to Mr. Blue.
I stashed it like we were sure this place wasn't a police station.
Now let's go get it. But first, we got to get rid of those cars outside. Looks like Sam's hot car lot out there.
If Mr. Pink is not the mole, I would not go get the stones right now until you know who is, because you can't trust anybody.
He went crazy in the store, but he seems all right now.
I told them not to touch the alarm. They did. If they hadn't done what I told them not to do, they'd still be alive.
Seems simple enough to me. Mr. Blonde seems to be the most loose cannon type character then. If that's the case, he just starts shooting people. And it's amazing how I almost know exactly what happened in that attempted robbery without having actually seen the robbery. It's just all from the dialogue. It's just very effective use of sentences and language by Tarantino.
I told you I don't know anything about any setup. I've been on the force for only 8 months. They don't tell me anything.
I have a feeling Mr. Blonde's gonna kill him. I'd be so terrified if I was the cop right now, especially after hearing what this guy did.
It's amusing to me to torture. You can say anything you want, because I've heard it all before. All you can do is pray for a quick death.
Mr. Blonde is a straight maniac, holy crap.
You ever listen to K. Billy's Super Sounds of the 70s?
Oh man, please don't start cutting him with that. That'd be disgusting. Man, Mr. Blonde is messed up dancing in this situation. Feels absolutely no remorse for his actions. Obviously, if you're gonna be in that type of business, you can't. That's very uncomfortable, gosh. Ugh. Bro, is that his ear? Did he freaking cut off his ear? The fact that Mr. Blonde is doing all this in a room alone with the cop, though, makes me think that he's not the mole. Is he gonna do what I think he's gonna do? Is he gonna try and light him on fire? Oh, I don't like this one bit. Mr. Blonde is straight evil. He's got to be the worst of the whole group. Even though we haven't seen what everybody else is capable of, he's definitely the worst so far. Whoa! Alright, holy crap, that came out of nowhere. Does that mean Mr. Orange is the mole because he saved the cop? Or was he just saving him because he didn't want the cop to die and he wanted the information? I don't know. That was such a well executed moment though. I completely did not expect that.
Listen to me more than Nash. I'm a cop.
It is.
Yeah, I know.
He was the last one that I expected to be the mole in this situation.
Use the commode story.
What's a commode story? It's a scene, man. Memorize it.
I like the editing right there. Very cool.
To do this job, you gotta be a great actor. You gotta be naturalistic. You gotta be naturalistic as hell. I gotta memorize all this?
We got a script within a movie script, not something that you see too often.
They give me a call and they say, "Hey, Freddie." Say, "Hey, you getting some? You get some for me too?" Like they knew I still smoked, so they asked me to buy some for them when I was buying for me.
That's a scene, just him reciting it in his house or whatever, that you wouldn't see in most movies because people would think it's, I don't know, a waste of a scene or filler. But the way that Tarantino does his movies, it just works. I don't even know how to explain it.
People were living on resin, smoking the wood in their pipes for months. This chick had a bunch, and she's begging me to sell it. So I told her I wasn't going to be Joe the Pot Man.
See, when we get to this scene, when he's actually talking to him, it just works so much better because we've seen him practicing.
So I walk into the men's room, and who's standing there? 4 Los Angeles County sheriffs and a German shepherd.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, it's obvious. He's barking at me.
Shut up. I got my gun drawn, right? And I got to point it right at this guy. His right hand is creeping towards the glove box.
Tarantino has got such a unique style. The man is telling a story within his movie. Got Inception levels of storytelling in literal storytelling.
You know how to handle that situation. Just your pants and dive in and swim.
Tell me more about Cabot.
You remember the Fantastic Four?
Oh, yeah, with that invisible and flame on and shit.
Looks just like the Thing. Yeah.
And it's crazy how much this movie is jumping around between times. Credit to Tarantino because I'm following it. I know I've been knowing where we are pretty much at all times. So he's obviously very effective in his methods.
She looked like Christy Love. Remember that TV show that Christy Love? She always used to say, "You under arrest, sugar."
This dialogue, man, so interesting. Basically just watching people hang out.
We're going to be using aliases on this job. Under no circumstances do I want any one of you to relate to each other by your Christian name. And I don't want any talk about where you've been, where you might have done time.
Mr. White messed up on that front.
Here are your names. Mr. Brown, Mr. White, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Blue, Mr. Orange, Mr. Pink.
Why am I Mr. Pink? How about if I'm Mr. Purple? I mean, that sounds good to me. I'll be Mr. Purple.
You're not Mr. Purple. You're Mr. Pink.
Who cares what your name is?
Yeah, that's easy for you to say. You're Mr. White. You have a cool-sounding name. If it's no big deal to be Mr. Pink, you want to trade?
Nobody's trading with anybody.
This is the most odd preparation meeting for a bank robbery I've watched in a movie. Just arguing over names. Dang, Tarantino is done. He is dead for sure. Freaking annihilated those cops, and that's gotta be rough for Mr. Orange to watch. He's watching his fellow men die, and there's nothing he can do about it. When does he get shot then? Because he's not shot yet.
Hold it! Hold it! Right there!
Oh, she shoots him. Dang, and then he just kills the innocent woman. That's gotta mess him up big time. Now we've come full circle. We're back to where we were at the beginning. How's he gonna explain this?
Lyle went crazy. Cut off his ear, was gonna burn him alive.
This cop?
Oh no! Dang it, he saved his life just for him to die not long after. I feel very worried for Mr. Orange at this point. I feel like he could be dead here soon too.
The man you just killed just got released from prison. He could have walked. All he had to do was say my dad's name, but he didn't. He did 4 years for us. You're telling me that now that this man is free, he's just gonna decide to rip us off?
Oh gosh, Mr. Orange is dead for sure. He messed up big time with the story.
Joe, trust me on this. You've made a mistake. He's a good kid. We're all real emotional, but you're barking up the wrong tree.
I'm interested why Mr. White is so defensive of him.
You don't need proof when you have instinct. I ignored it before, but no more.
A lot of guns out right now. Things could get bad real quick.
Just put our guns down.
Joe, if you kill that man, you die next. Repeat, if you kill that man, you die next. Don't make me do this.
Dude, holy crap, all 4 of them just died in an instant. I was tense in that moment because all the guns were drawn, but I did not expect that to actually happen where they all fired. What a freaking scene. Steve Buscemi's just piecing with the diamonds. He really is the last one alive though, so it's not like he has any reason to stay. Where's Mr. Orange's backup? Dang, he's telling him. I guess he has nothing else to lose at this point.
Put the gun down! Don't...
It's about time they arrived. Jeez. What? Oh my gosh, Tarantino, you madman. I can't believe that's where it ended, with everybody dying and Steve Buscemi just getting out with the diamonds. Such an unusual way to tell that story, but it works. It's amazing that Tarantino is able to pull off these movies that are almost all dialogue and take place in such a small amount of locations, and yet I'm still entertained throughout the whole movie. I'm never like bored by it. I know exactly what's going on, especially by the end. There's no questions for me about the story. It's all super clear, even though never see the robbery, never see a lot of the action moments. It's just very, very impressive. And if I remember right, I think you guys had said that this is his first directorial debut. Came onto the scene with a bang. I think he may have written a script before this, if I remember, just based off your comments on the Pulp Fiction reaction. But yeah, if you went into this movie when it first came out, or even now, just expecting your traditional run-of-the-mill story, it definitely takes you by surprise. It is nice having seen Pulp Fiction and kind of knowing what to expect from a Tarantino movie going into this, because I feel like I was able to enjoy it a little bit more than I would have otherwise. I wasn't preoccupied with trying to understand some elaborate plot. I was just enjoying watching the dialogue between the characters. Can't wait to continue on with more Tarantino movies in the future. I'm going to probably try and go in order of release date. That seems to be the way that you guys recommended to do it, just to see his progression. Alright, my second Tarantino movie down. Another very unique experience from what I usually get when watching a movie, just from the storytelling aspects to how everything's done pretty much out of order, but somehow by the end it all makes sense. It all weaves together excellently, And so he's definitely a very, very talented director, not only with the dialogue, because obviously that's his forte, that's where his kind of reputation comes from, and from watching 2 of his movies now, definitely kind of the highlights because of how interesting and information packed his dialogue is, but at the same time just very normal and not too showy. But he's also very, very skilled at storytelling in a way that is not typical in filmmaking, and so I appreciate that. His 2 movies that I've watched so far have given me very different experiences. Always like when a movie can give me something that I haven't really seen too much before, because I'm usually more engaged. And having seen these 2 now, I definitely really want to check out his other stuff. I know he doesn't have a huge filmography, and so hopefully I can get through the rest of his movies over the next couple of weeks or months, however long it takes. But I think I did see recently that Tarantino is only going to make 1 more movie, I think, and I would definitely love to see all of his movies before that one is released, so I can maybe go see it in the theater and kind of have that experience and have the background of all of his other movies behind it. But I hope you enjoyed watching my reaction to this, and as always, if you'd like to watch along with me for the entire movie, definitely check out my Patreon. The link for that is in the description. And if you enjoyed the video, definitely consider leaving a thumbs up. That helps the video reach more people and helps the channel out a lot. Looking forward to interacting with you all in the comments of this one. Really enjoyed all your comments and stuff on the Pulp Fiction video, so can't wait to see all your comments and insights on this one. And if you're still watching, definitely leave a comment. Let me know if at the end of all the Tarantino movies, if you'd like me to kind of give a quick rating of all the Tarantino movies that I've seen. If that's something that you'd like to see, let me know. I'd appreciate it. But until the next video, I will see you all later. Peace.